they could outperform because there's a bit of a risk off. But at some point, the dip will get bought. Now, on days like today, there's always a second dip. So that's why you don't want to just jump the gun and say, okay, the dip has been bought. You want to see how things go. But yes, the mid caps are seeing buying. I think Bata is a stock that we've been talking about for the last 3-4 days now. Yesterday in closing bell also it was discussed as one of the stocks where at least there's some room. So obviously the market's still focused on some of these stocks. So the first temptation is to buy the dip in the mid caps. I think that's worked out. I think on the bank nifty, you want to see till 10 a.m. what is the hourly low, and then perhaps make that as your reference point. It's sitting on the bank nifty sitting on 6,000-7,000 points of gain. So obviously it can lose 1,000 points and still be in an upside. But as of now, I think you would still want to see if the dip gets bought or not. But Ashwani, how have you read into the market opening, and is there any trade here?
It's a mild downside. The Nifty futures, I think, 12,890. So you should try to buy into this decline, even on the bank Nifty. And once the market finds buying, I think this sort of a dip will easily get absorbed. So we bought 30,000 monthly calls. So a bit of 50, 100 points up and down you can manage. But once the FII is back, I think these sort of dips will easily get gobbled up.
Okay, and Mitesh, your approach?
Yeah, Anuj, I think we've added long positions on IGL and L&T Finance. I think this doesn't look like a serious dip, but again, I've not traded the index, but I would keep a close watch on 12,850, 830 zone. If we don't break that, then I think all should be well, and we should again try and attempt to get past 12,950.
Okay, gentlemen, thanks a lot for taking us through the market opening. It's really been a very strong opening. Just keep an eye on LIC Housing Finance. That's had a breakaway gap. It's out of F&O ban. Yesterday, Tata Motors came out of F&O ban, and you saw that big move on that stock. Today, LIC Housing has had that kind of a
today, Bajaj Finance is already in the green.
Yes. So I think that a lot of these NBFC names have been strong, and they are being bought on dips. S. Krishna Kumar is now joining us, Chief Investment Officer at Sundaram Mutual Fund. Krishna, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Good morning.
Yeah, of course, this is a time where a lot of people are, asking themselves that, we may have missed the rally. It's been one of the most hated rallies, right? Because a lot of people may have missed out. But incrementally, how should one approach this market?
Yeah, I think most of the uncertainties are now well behind us. Both from a domestic economy perspective, we seem to have come back to near pre-COVID levels, except a few high-intensive sectors of multiplexes or airlines and tourism, which will come back in the next quarter or so. Globally, I think the uncertainty of the US elections is broadly behind us. We expect a moderately positioned government to come in from a policy perspective, which is good. The Fed has reiterated its stance to keep liquidity going for a couple of years. First signs of tapering or rate hikes could be, fairly a year away or more, including the Eurozone. I think they still have a lot of pump priming to do. And the other risk in terms of the virus, I think though there's a second wave, the vaccine is just, probably a few weeks away, which will hedge it. So to large extent, I think most of the negativity is behind us. We should continue to build on the equity end of the asset allocation. The rally has been more into the large caps, given the liquidity that's come through. The next wave in terms of market move would be the liquidity moves into more riskier asset classes, in the EMs like mid caps, small caps, signs of which are already visible. The underperformance of this mid and small caps will correct itself in the next 12 months, is my belief. So we should position ourselves more there.
Okay. Mid and small caps. Krishna, good morning. Pleasure having you with us. If you can give more guidance to our viewers, mid and small caps is a large terrain. Where would you position yourself? Would it be in this PLI kind of stocks? Would it be textiles because the PLI is expected? Some more color.
So I think if you look at the rally from March lows, there were three phases basically, right? The first phase was the defensives, which are more key essential sectors, which were continuing to chug along. The next phase of the rally marked some of the the opening up trades that happened as we got into the automotive sector, the some of the consumer low end discretionary products, etc. And also the materials bit came along. In the last phase, which where you're going through, given that the financial health of the economy is far better, we see that the banking and the NBFC sector, which have been a bit of a laggard earlier, is now playing out. So this is an area where, particularly in the mid-cap side, at the small end of the banking space, the small finance banks, the NBFCs, etc., have had a terrible run in the previous 2 years. So they're all kind of catching up with the kind of liquidity that's available and the balance sheet recap that's been done across the space. So that's a big area of financials that we would be positive on to add, basically. Also, from a cyclicals perspective, the trade is moving away from expensive defensive sectors like FMCG, pharma, and moving into more of the cyclicals, basically, including consumer discretionary cyclicals like retail, which are seeing a good improvement, including the food retail, the grocers, and also on the consumer durable side. So these are also the next sectors which will continue to derive good demand and grow faster. The materials sector, including the building materials, which we think is a big play on the government's push on housing, basically. We're seeing a big thrust from the government on the housing space. So anything connected with housing finance, HFCs, the building material space would be a very good base to play the next 3 to 4 years in the mid and small cap space, essentially.
Okay, by the way, just don't lose focus on the market. I mean, look at some of these aviation stocks. SpiceJet is up 12% right now. Huge volumes being traded on SpiceJet this morning. So that's clearly the space to be in. Apart from that, the entire two-wheeler space has come alive after very strong numbers from Hero Moto. So TVS is the other one, and all these players that supply to two-wheelers. So Endurance Tech, for example, Varroc Engineering, you have Minda Industries, all of these stocks are doing pretty well. Krishna, good morning. This is a space that has caught the fancy of investors, the auto and auto ancillary space. We've got some very good numbers from Hero MotoCorp. Is this a time to be putting fresh money to work in either two-wheelers or the ancillary guys that supply to the two-wheeler OEMs?
I think, we are seeing a bit of I would think a bit of softness in the next few months on the two-wheeler side. The expectations are such. I think they had a very good run. So they would consolidate. I would think that incrementally a lot of the ancillaries which benefit from either a two-wheeler recovery or a passenger car recovery or an export market or a commercial vehicle recovery, I think that's the space to be in now. You need to allocate more towards the auto angs, which again have a multiple set of drivers at this point in time and not just depend upon one sector of the auto side. So I think auto angs, then those ones which are also an export bias also would be the ones which would be in play in the next 12 to 24 months.
Okay. Krishna, you know that the rally in the small cap, the big rally, iconic rally was in 2017 when that index grew 60% and the mid cap index rose 40%. Are you expecting something like that? Because, I mean, already from the March lows, both these indexes are up by about 30-40%. But do you think 2021 can be that kind of a year for mid caps and small caps?
See, this the new bull market, which started off from the panic bottoms of March, I think is probably just less than a year old, and we had about roughly 50% kind of returns in the large cap indices and about 60 to 70% in the mid and small cap indices. So slowly, I think if the mid caps and small caps will enjoy a further run, because if you look at those 3 years from December 17, when the markets peaked, according to me, from a broad market perspective, the small cap index is still about 25% below the peak of December 17. The mid-cap index also is somewhere about 15% below its peak. So while we have grown in terms of profits, etc., and look forward for a better growth in 22 and 23, the valuations are very much in favor at probably a discount of 15 to 20% to the large caps compared to a premium of 20% in 2017. So we are very well set from a valuation perspective, from a liquidity perspective, and domestic rate cycle also is very, very favorable with an operating leverage that will kick in as the economy kind of ramps up in the next 24 months, which will give a lot of push on operating leverage and also the interest cost benefits that the companies are going to benefit. I think it's going to be very good times for mid and small caps in the next 2 years.
Okay, Krishna, of
We
course.
can have a very good run, whether it's 40, 60%, but I think we will have a very, very steady uptick in mid and small caps as the market breadth widens in the next 2 years.
Okay, yes, we are seeing that actually. Look at the mid-cap index is now comfortably in the green. Advanced decline is now in favor of the advancing stocks. Krishna, you've had stocks like Laurus and Thyrocare in your mid and small cap funds. Made a lot of money, but is this space now getting overcrowded, or do you just stay put here?
See, pharma, again, like we discussed earlier, very specific in terms of which spaces within pharma, which companies. So there is a lot of incentive that is also coming through the government on bulk manufacturing, etc. In addition to the fact that some of these companies you mentioned have huge capacities that are coming in for and also customer contracts. So we would definitely remain positive on some of the pharma sectors which have good visibility in terms of customer contracts, etc. On the diagnostic space, I think even though we might have a vaccine coming through, but in terms of testing, antibodies available, etc. I think it's going to become like a normal thyroid test or a normal blood test, the COVID test. So I think we're going to see continuance of COVID tests helping the diagnostic companies maintain a certain path of growth. In addition to that, there is definitely a path wherein there's a huge consolidation happening in the diagnostic space. The unorganized guys, the small guys are giving way to the larger national chains, and that will continue given the kind of bandwidth of management that is required. So these listed companies and the diagnostics will continue to be compounding stories, if not a re-rating story. I think they've re-rated already. It'll be more a compounder, basically, in terms of stock performance.
All right. Krishna, thank you very much for joining us and putting the spotlight on where the market wants it to be on mid and small caps, and saying that they might be the flag bearers of the rally from here on. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, we have yet another